How are we traveling? Hello, everyone.
Welcome to A Lift to Work with Kate.
And I'm not Kate. I am Kate. That's Tina. That's an excellent start, isn't it? Yay. Come on, bring it on, Tina. Bring it on.
Well, we are very pleased to be here today in a slightly comical mood, as you can hear, to talk to you about how to support someone who's studying. And you may have listened to last week's episode, which is about if you're doing studying yourself. So if you're supporting somebody who's living with you or in your life that's studying, this will be super useful to listen to. And the mode of transport today, Kate,
I can't remember.
is the roller coaster.
Oh, yes. That's honestly, we've just had this discussion. It's a roller coaster. Oh, and everybody, you're nodding because you're like, oh, yeah, I know why they've chosen a roller coaster because living with somebody or knowing somebody that is studying for assignments, exams, tests, whatever, it does have its ups and downs, doesn't
It
it?
does have its ups and downs. So strap in for an exciting ride because exam times and study like stuff it's in the top 10 stresses in life, and it's not something we do all the time. So there's lots of helpful things that you can do if you're with somebody who's going through a period of studying.
Yeah, and you will know, if you've ever done any type of study yourself, you will know what it's like and you will understand the value of having somebody there to support you through it.
Yeah,
Um, Remember though, what you liked and what you needed might not be the same as
yeah.
that person. So that's why we're giving you handy hits and tips.
Yeah, and some of them are going to be about creating good environments and patterns and habits, and some of the tips are going to be about mindset stuff. So there's going to be a lot to enjoy. So I reckon a good place to start with is environment. So what can we do to help somebody get in a good space to study, so to speak?
So when we're talking about the physical space now,
Hmm. Hmm.
uh, supporting somebody and helping them to remove clutter, depending on what your space is like, because everybody's will be different. But let's just say you're using the dining room table as your study space. Clear it, make it a bit of a sacred space, and don't touch anybody else's stuff.
Yeah. I mean, identify a space that can be a study space, I reckon, and yeah, create create it as that, really, label it as that, even if it's temporary and no one else in the kitchen at that time, or this is so and so's study corner and don't touch their stuff, and just create a space that feels like, yeah, this is where I go to do that thing called studying. And Kate and
Yeah.
I said in the earlier podcast, you sit on the sofa to watch the telly. So basically create another space where you go to study. So that's really helpful. And then,
Yeah, and oh, sorry, I was just going to add in there, if there are children in the house, make them aware
yeah,
of the need for this space because you know what wandering fingers and dirty hands are like.
yeah,
They get into everything, but actually help them to become part of a solution.
yeah. Because they
So,
might put something inspiring on that desk for a parent or for a sister
yeah,
or brother, and a little note that says you can do it or something, and like you say. Also, if there's a plan around the study, like this is going to be half an hour of studying, this is a little slot, then they could help set a timer, and especially young children who follow you even into the toilet, um, it can help for them to set the timer to say like mum or dad or brother is going to study now, and so we're setting this timer and we're not disturbing them because they need to concentrate for this half an hour, and you can set a little egg timer like you would when you bake a cake. So that can help actually get them involved in making sacred time as well as space.
yeah. And
That
it's remembering what you do then with impressionable young minds will influence how they study in the future. So if you involve them in that process, then subconsciously, that is what they're learning. That is how they will process, and that is how they will do their studying in the future. So it's worth remembering that.
yeah, you're kind of laying down and embedding some stuff like that. That's a really, really good point. And then it's about kind of creating a whole lifestyle around this for the months that it's happening that is about more than just the moment of study, and trying not to bring your judgment to how others study is a big thing. So, if somebody said, oh, I'm going to study for an hour, and then they appear and you go, well, I thought you were studying for an hour. What are you doing? They're going, oh, I'm just getting a drink. I'm going to the toilet. So you've already started to think, oh, well, they should be studying and they're out of the study space. And what are they doing? So try not to bring your judgment to it, because
Yeah,
people do everything in their own way, as you know yourself.
yeah, and frustrations.
Mm.
I know with friends that have been doing assignments recently, I try very hard not to tear my hair out, but their study process is different to
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah. And I was having a conversation with somebody only recently whose partner is doing the theory test to prepare for learning to drive. And they haven't succeeded the first few times. I'm sure they've learned though. And they don't seem to be studying for this next appointment. They've got to redo it. And I said, God, that what are you doing to help them study? And she said, it's up to them.
Mm.
I can only do so much. I can create circumstances when I say, oh, I'm going to read a book for an hour if you want to do that thing while I'm doing this thing. But I can't put their nose to the grindstone, because only they can have the motivation to do that, which was, I thought, really good point, really.
If you do have somebody that is, I don't know, perhaps reluctant for whatever reason, you could always offer to be a study buddy slash learning partner.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes people don't appear to be reluctant because they're stuck. So you could maybe, it's really tempting at that point in time to nag, especially maybe if you're in a parental or guardian role, when you just want them to do well. And so, you start to reel out all the reasons why it will be a catastrophe if they don't study. You won't get
Yeah.
exams, you won't get a job, you won't have nice hair, whatever. You say to them. But really try not to do that, because
Yeah.
that just is like you're fretting, and B, you're then nagging, which
Yeah.
just has it has the negative and opposite effect to what you want, which is actually to encourage them.
The great question is, or two great questions. What do you need? And
Brilliant.
what can I do to help you?
Yeah. Because if people are stuck, asking them, have you got a plan? Do you need help to make one? What do you need? How can I help? Brilliant questions, Kate.
Mm. Yeah. And remember that if you're saying, what can, you know, you want the emphasis to be on them
Or you.
or to make the decisions, to tell you what they want, not you
Yeah.
telling them what you think they want slash need. So that's not how it works.
Yeah. Because I know for sure that my own family, um, the person who lives here who's studying at the moment likes to go out for a walk like immediately afterwards. It's sort of like just sets it in a different space. So I don't go out until they're ready. I wait to do the walk with the dog, and we go and do that together, and we just talk about everything but the studying.
Yeah.
The robins in the trees and how funny the dog looks on the walk, and we do that. I might nip in the room with a hot chocolate, because in the past she's told me that's quite nice when treats arrive.
Yeah.
But I don't, I just walk in with it, I put it on the desk, and then I leave. I don't even disturb, because
Yeah.
they're in their flow.
Yeah. And you know, get in the way as well. You know, you said that yours likes to go for a walk afterwards, and that is something that you can do together, to
Mm.
have inane conversations about rubbish. And if that person chooses to talk about where they're at, have that conversation. It's up to them to bring it up.
Yeah.
uh, and we can do that. And it's, you know, we do have international listeners. We're very British, all right? And all right can mean a lot of different things. Yeah, yeah, I'm fine. Also has a lot of different connotations to it as well.
Yeah. So I think, in the whole exam period, make time for things that they enjoy, that you enjoy together, cinema, favorite programs on the tellies, cooking together, whatever your bag is, just make times for enjoyable stuff. They don't have to have their nose to the grindstone the whole time. And everything about study theory says that there must be a period in which it embeds in, and so there needs to be these kind of spaces where it settles into the head. So
Yeah,
that's quite helpful.
yeah. And it might be as well that, and this is always a good one for every situation really, is just listen
Mm.
to whatever is being said, whether it be, you know, a rant about whatever, or, you know, something else, or something else on top of that. Listen.
Yeah,
Um, and you'll be amazed at what you can pick up on. Oh, well, I've got this studying to do, but I've also got to do this and this. Okay, so it might be that actually this and this, simple things that you can do as a supporting
yeah,
person, you know, washing. And you know, this isn't sex specific, it's not about what gender
mm,
you are. It's, oh, can I do the washing? Could I put the washing out? What can I do?
yeah,
So they don't have to think about that.
yeah, exactly. If they say they need more time, you can say, well, I'll put petrol in the car this week and I'll pop and get the shopping and I'll do these bits. And then you will have more time because they're things that you normally do.
Yeah,
So that's the kind of stuff, isn't it, Kate, you're talking
yeah,
about?
yeah.
And I think also, praise and just reminding them of a sense of reward. So first of all, when you're in exam season and you're studying a lot, it can feel like it will never end. So
Mm,
reminding them this will not last forever
yeah,
is actually helpful. Secondly, and what, if they go on, I'm just getting nowhere with this, I just don't feel like, there's so much to do. Well, but what I've noticed is you've actually studied 3 times this week already. And
yeah,
okay, you've done like half-hour slots, but that's something, and that consistency, and we did a whole episode on consistency.
yeah,
That whole consistency is going to get you there in the end.
yeah. And you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed at what you think you don't know, but actually you do know it. That's
Yeah.
right, isn't it?
And remind them of previous success. So people who are saying, I had this conversation recently, very close to home, who's saying like, oh, I've got this assignment, I'm not going to be any good. And I'm like, well, do you remember when you did your SATs? And you were worried about those and you got through those, you got a good result. And you did your GCSEs and you were worried and you got pretty good results there. A few things you wanted to do better, but you did quite well. And the A levels. And therefore you've got this in you and you can do it again and you will be resourceful. And so reminding them of times when, yeah, they are resourceful and they're good at remembering stuff.
Mm, yeah. And I think another good tip is, and I certainly hear this a lot in the clinical environment from students who have submitted and failed and got to resubmit. Now the pass mark is 40,
Mm,
and these, you know, these students are genuinely about, or generally about 38, 39.
so
They've got
close.
tiniest little bit. And when we discuss it, they're talking about rewriting the whole thing,
Mm,
but you only need to get 3 or 4 marks.
yeah.
Does that warrant an entire change?
Yeah. Yeah. Such a good point.
So yeah, so thinking about things slightly differently. Does it need a little tweak or a big tweak? It's asking them the question. So they
Yeah.
just simply think about it. That's all.
And try and encourage them to be their own selves and do it in their own way. Comparison, as I so often say, is the thief of joy, because you can think you're doing okay and then you start comparing yourselves to others' results, what they're up to. And it's so true, isn't it? Will this matter in a month, in a year, in 5 years, 10 years? Will you be saying, well, Kate got 68% and I only got 52%? Nah.
We don't care. The
It's not going to
past,
matter in the future, is it? But this
pass is a
comparison,
pass is a pass.
compare yourself to yourself would be the answer to that. How did you
Yeah.
do last week? How are you doing this week? Are you remembering more? Perfection.
I think lastly, are we on to the last bit now, Tina?
I think we
Finally.
are. Yeah, we're going down the
Maybe
bottom.
we are going to,
The roller
we're
coaster's going down now.
coming to us, coming to a standstill. So remember to be kind to yourself as that
Mm,
supportive person, because living with somebody who is studying can be quite challenging. So actually, give yourself a pat on the back and go, you know what? I'm doing all right because I'm awesome.
yeah,
Because effectively, sometimes you have to think for two. And that's the great thing about relationships. Between you, you have 100%. It's never 50-50. Sometimes one person might be 70 and the other is 30. The
mm,
next time it might be 40 and 60. It's rarely equal because we balance each other out.
yeah,
Think
great.
about
Yeah, fantastic. So good luck, everybody who's supporting anyone with exam time. It's going to be brilliant because you're going to be really resourceful now you've listened to this podcast. And in
that.
April, there will be a mini series of how to cope with exams in all sorts of ways. So keep an ear out for that. Thank you for listening.
Have an amazing day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. This has been A Lift to Work with Kate and Tina. Please subscribe, like, and share. Comments and questions are most welcome.
And please remember, this is a light-hearted coaching podcast designed to stimulate your thinking. It's not designed to treat any mental health issues. So if you need additional professional help, please do see a qualified practitioner. Take care, and we'll see you next time.